going on a 14-night cruise, is it excessive? It'll be our second cruise concerned of getting bored. So this is a fair question, I think. Is a 14-night cruise too long of a cruise? And the answer is no, not necessarily. I mean, a cruise is what you make of it, Andre. So if you sit in your room and you just, with your arms folded and don't do anything, yeah, I think you might be bored after 14 nights. But there are plenty of activities and things to do for a lot of people. First and foremost, cruising is a relaxing escape. It's an opportunity for you to, sit back, relax, and just, enjoy time at the pool, take a nap, Tony Diaz, and, kind of relax and forget all your troubles, right? But of course, there'll be lots of activities. And on a 14-night cruise, I'm going to guess there's going to be a fair amount of port stops as well. So I don't know that you'll be bored. But again, at the end of the day, cruising is what you make of it, meaning what you invest in. If you take the time to find fun things to do on board, there are fun things to do on board. And I think you can have a great time there. With the classic soda package, do both guests have to purchase this package, or can it be shared between two guests? The answer is no to both. Both people do not have to buy. The rule you're referring to is only for the alcohol package. So if one person buys the soda package, the other people in the room do not have to buy it, but it can absolutely not be shared. No drink package can be shared with any other person. Stay on the ship or do something in Nassau. I like to at least get off the ship a little bit, Scotty. I don't always have a formal tour booked, but I get kind of, it's fun. I get kind of stir crazy. When we were on Independence of the Seas, we did a 3-night cruise last fall, and I told my wife, I said, we're not getting off the ship in Nassau. We're just going to hang out and enjoy the ship. So I'm sitting up. We go to Starbucks. I get my coffee. I'm sipping my coffee, and I'm like, it's like 10:30 in the morning, and I'm like, honey, I got to get off the ship. I'm getting stir crazy. I just want to get off to say I got off and walk to a bar. And so we got off the ship for a little bit. But I generally do get off the ship and at least do something. In Nassau, it's a really good idea to have a tour booked. Can you recommend a travel insurance for our upcoming cruise? There are a lot of companies that are out there. I personally use Allianz, but there's a lot that's there. A good resource, Amy, is insuremytrip.com. It's an aggregator. So you tell them what you're looking for, and they give you quotes from many companies. You can figure out which one is which. But for what it's worth, I use Allianz. My flight lands at 6 a.m. the day of embarkation. Is that enough time to make it to the cruise? My time to embark is at 4. Chelsea, if I were you, there's a couple things here, and this is a good question. So I'm going to, if at all possible, do yourself a favor, Chelsea. Move your flight back to the day before. Flying the same day of your cruise, no matter how early, is a mistake. Things can happen. You remember the Southwest debacle a couple weeks ago? Last week, I think it was. Case in point. Move it to the day before. Do yourself a favor. Even if you take you go to work, take like a 7 or 8 o'clock flight out, it's still better than a 6 a.m. flight, quite frankly. Now, your time to embark is at 4. Is that the check-in time that you got through the Royal Caribbean app? Or are you looking at a piece of paper or on the website and it says, oh, boarding is between this hour and this hour? Because that means nothing. You need your actual check-in time, and usually embarkation is before 4 p.m. Usually the last time is like in the 2-3 o'clock hour there. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, will you probably be okay with a 6 a.m. flight? Yeah, you'll probably be okay. But I'm telling you, since you're asking, I would book a flight the day before and not, first of all, if your flight lands at 6 a.m., I can't even imagine what time you're like getting up in the morning and taking off. I mean, you're going to be a wreck that day. You're going to be going to sleep at 6 o'clock at night like Tony Diaz. You don't want to do that. You want to be energized and ready for a full day. How does the whole dining with the captain, first officer, and where is it normally held? Honestly, dude, I don't know. I mean, usually it's held in the main dining room. On the bottom floor, there's usually like a large table with a Royal Caribbean emblem in it. Honestly, I have no earthly idea how it is chosen, who gets to dine there. Usually it's different people every day. In talking with people who have been selected to dine there, it seems like it is just pure magic. People get invited for who knows what. Repeat cruisers, new cruisers. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. So I am not sure. I would say that if you wanted to dine there, the person to kiss up to would be the hotel director on board. That probably has the a good say in that. Can we reserve shows, especially restaurant, prior to boarding? Yes. For specialty restaurants, the only dining you can book beforehand is if you make a full reservation. So if you book a dining package, you can't pre-book ahead of time. But if you want to just book Chops Grill or the Mason Jar brunch, you can do that before the cruise. As for the shows, as I told Jonesy earlier, right around a month or so, they should show up there to make show reservations in the Royal Caribbean app, or more, and the Royal Caribbean website, the cruise planner website, I should say. Have you ever taken a cruise to Cabo, Mazatlán, Puerto, Vallarta? Yes. I went there for Christmas 2021. Cabo, we did whale watching. Absolutely phenomenal. If it's in season, whale watching. Mazatlán, we rented an ATV. Puerto Vallarta, we went through Royal Caribbean and got a day pass to Sabal Playa, Sabalplaya. That was a private journeys excursion. But there's a lot of great resorts you can get access to as well, and I really like that quite a bit. How soon do cabanas come open in La Badie? Thank you for the super chat, Carol. I don't know. There's not a specific day. It's not like, oh, Carol, it's X amount of days before the cruise. They just kind of show up. When? Good question. You just got to keep checking back. I mean, a number I always throw out there is 6 months. Probably by then it'll be out there. And if not, you just got to keep checking back. Royal Caribbean, when it comes to these kind of things, when they add shore excursions in general, or cabanas in this case, it's kind of just one day it's not there, one day it is there kind of thing. 10-year anniversary next year and want to cruise royal recommendations like the Star Class room review you did earlier this month. I would say, boy, I mean, there's so many great choices there. When it comes to, I mean, which ship to pick, there's so many great choices. I don't know where to begin, quite frankly, because I don't know your budget. This is when a good travel agent really comes in handy because they can give you specifics on this. But obviously, 10-year anniversary, maybe you want to celebrate, and pick an Oasis class ship, Wonder of the Seas, Harmony of the Seas, the new Odyssey of the Seas, not an Oasis class, but still a very, very good ship. Certainly, if you like that Star Class room, you can only find those on Oasis and Quantum class. So I would definitely recommend Wonder or Odyssey. Those are two good ships to start with, but there's plenty more beyond that. Please don't take that as an affront that you shouldn't book, Mariner or Freedom, because those are wonderful ships as well. Better to check in the app or on the website. The app for sure. It's a lot. It scans the passport faster. You can move around and do different, like you do check in first and then come back and do the rest later. The app. It was my favorite thing about cruising, not cooking for myself. Really, what it is, the magic of cruising for me is that you have all the fun on the cruise ship. You go to sleep and you wake up somewhere else and you have all the fun over there plus the cruise ship. That is an unparalleled kind of experience that really makes cruising so unique. And somebody else makes meals for me so I don't have to cook, or my wife to cook, or either way. That also is a nice touch right there. What is better, my time or just picking 5:30? Personal preference. There isn't a right or wrong answer. There isn't one that is quote unquote better. I personally prefer 5:30 dining. But there are people out there who prefer my time because they're going to say, listen, number one, I don't want to eat dinner at 5:30. Number two, I don't want to eat dinner at the same time every day of the cruise. Maybe we're in port until like 4 o'clock. I don't want to eat dinner then until like 6 or 7. But the next day, sea day, I would like to eat dinner at 5. So there's more variation, more control, if you will, with the times if you do my time. But it's personal preference. There isn't a right or wrong answer. Do we still have to tip my prepaid gratuities already? Yes, your prepaid gratuities cover your stateroom attendant and the dining room staff. But if you are buying a drink at the bar or you're going to the spa, that's separate. So it's a good question. It's a common question, actually. We're on Mariner in June. My wife is interested to book a service at the spa. Our price is generally better during port days. They can be. So here's the thing, David. If your wife is interested in one treatment, like she just wants a sweetest massage, okay, the price will be the same if you book it before the cruise or during the cruise. Doesn't matter. But on port days, they'll offer specials. And usually the specials are combo deals, like, 20 minutes of a massage, 20 minutes of a facial, and 20 minutes of something else I can't think off the top of my head, pedicure or something like that. So you have to check with the spa, obviously. But yes, there can be some good deals for port days. So absolutely. Is a travel agent worth it? Yes, a good travel agent is absolutely worth it. They cost you nothing extra to use, by the way. A good travel agent should cost you nothing extra. And what they're going to do, it's not about booking the cruise. Anybody can book a cruise, right? Maybe they'll find a better discount for you or a better price, but really it's about the assistance that they provide you from when you book until when you sail. There's questions, there could be concerns, problems with the Royal Caribbean. They're there for you. It really makes a difference. I book with a travel agent every single time. When is the best time of year for an Alaska cruise? So it depends on what you define best. The best weather, as in probably not going to rain as much. May and June, July. The hottest temperatures, July and August. The lowest crowds, May or September. So it kind of depends on, July's got really warm temperatures, but it's going to be crowded. I mean, that's like peak Alaska season right there. Not that the crowds are a big deal, but there'll be more ships to contend with. That's all. I was on Oasis and I noticed a brunch menu, something new they're doing. Yeah, I noticed it towards the end of last year. I was on Odyssey that instead of breakfast, at least on some nights, if not all night, sorry, on some mornings, not all mornings, they're doing brunch. So they still start breakfast at like whatever time they started at, but it basically runs through like 1 o'clock. So basically, there's no stopping between breakfast and lunch. It's just brunch. I know I just defined what brunch is if you all don't know what that is. Um, I think it's new. I'm not sure if it's like a something they're testing, but certainly is a change that I've noticed there. So it's not just you. I've noticed that as well. Are apps like Booking.com or Expedia a better deal than a Royal Caribbean? No. In fact, I would say I'm going to go one step further. Do not book it on those sites. They're terrible customer service, and if you need changes, there can be fees with them. Don't do it. Use a good travel agent. And this is one more thing. The price of the cruise is the same whether you book with a travel agent or a website like that or directly with Royal Caribbean. It's the service. When you need changes or you have questions or even saving you time and money, that's where good travel agent comes in. Do not use those websites. I don't recommend them at all. Thank you again so much for joining us here. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice, all waiting for you over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Until next Monday, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun, and we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.